All right. So my name's Ethan Koecki,
RJ Dean.
Lou Cardona.
Nolan Hassel.
Ryan Lavosi.
and we're going to give our presentation on our learning service project we did at the Alliance Community Pantry. Just as a quick intro of the things we're going to talk about today, first we'll go over some facts on hunger in America, how hunger impacts families, why we chose the Alliance Food Pantry. We'll then give you some information on the pantry's mission, and finally we'll go over what we did while we were working there and how that made an impact on the Alliance community. So just a couple quick facts on hunger that came from feedingamerica.org. In 2009, 38 million Americans lived in poverty. 37 million Americans struggled with hunger or food insecurity, as it's also known, and 11 million of these were children. Children living in food insecure homes, you can see made up a large majority of those who are living in hunger. 56% of those struggling with food insecurity are on some type of federal food assistance program, such as WIC or food stamps. So as you can see, there's also a lot of Americans that don't receive some type of federal assistance, and they have to rely on other places such as food pantries to source their food. So this has a great impact on families. 38% of the families are considered food insecure. The majority of people that are food insecure live in large cities. However, 15% of those living in rural areas are also food insecure, so that'd be areas like Alliance. According to Howard Burks of the NPR, some 45% said that they had to choose between eating and paying utility bills at times. More than a third had to choose between food and rent and mortgage payments, and 30% faced a trade-off between food and medicine or medical care. So what made us choose to volunteer at the food pantry? Well, after looking at these statistics, we could see how much of an impact this problem has on society and especially the families, and that ties very well in with our class about the economics of gender and single household parents and so on. But we also found that 23% of Alliance residents had an income below poverty level in 2017. This is a lot higher than the rest of the state, which averages at 14%. And knowing how bad the poverty is in Alliance, that made us want to do something to help alleviate the economic hardship on families in the area, especially through helping them get some food and nutrients. And helping the Alliance Pantry really helped us towards this goal.
So some information, just basic information about the Alliance Food Pantry and how it works. So they use like a point system for their clientele, and it's based on different types of like food options, how many people that you are serving. So they have different options to choose from based on pork, chicken, beef, and sometimes like barbecued like ribs and stuff like that. It really depends. But it's based on how many people you have in your household that you're going to feed, and just some basic reviews that I've put on Yelp and stuff like that. That it's very nice and helpful people, and depending on it, your situation, they're very willing to help out.
So one of the first things we did when we got to the food pantry was organize a big storage room in the back of the building. So a lot of people come to the food pantry for various reasons. And on the picture on the far left, as you can see, there was laundry detergent, paper towels, and toilet paper there in the front. And that's just a couple of things they have in the back. And then obviously there's a ton of food. So in the second picture, there's me and the kind lady that we worked with that day that helps run it through the week. They had tons of different shelving for different things, such as mac and cheese, yogurt, pudding. I mean, you name it, they pretty much had it. Like barbecue sauce, ketchup, mayo, like little things like that, food-wise. And then on the far right, we had RJ and Ethan working in the freezer. And in the freezer, there wasn't a ton of things. It was more like milk products and There's really only milk back there and some, I want to say, that might have just been it, but there was pretty much just milk back there, and we had to bring carts in of milk to the back, and then we had to bag it. We go next slide. So right here, we have me, Ethan, Nolan. We were in the back with the red crates we had vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry milk, actually, and we were putting each in bags and then putting it in the carts and taking it back up front. This was took a lot of time to do this because there's a lot of milk. A lot of people like milk, and made some fun when we did it. And then here's when. So after we were in the storage room to start, we had everything organized. We had to keep going up front to see what we needed to shelve. So here, the big picture on the left, we are actually done that day. They were closed, and we started cleaning. You see RJ vacuuming, and a couple of us were just looking around, making sure we had everything cleaned up. And then you have Nolan in the top right, making sure we have enough mayo and canned goods there, so people could have it. And then the bottom right, Ethan and Nolan again, to just bringing stuff up front, making sure we have everything stocked so that the people could get what they want when they came through.
So once everything was stocked up and the customers started to die down, we got closer to the closing time. They started having us clean up, and we started in the back since there's still people out front. So we swept everything, as you can see on the left. We had some fun doing it too, messing around. But we swept everything, made sure it was all the dust and everything was off the ground. Then we went through and mopped it, including inside the walk-in freezer and behind Blue over there. We mopped inside of there. And we actually, once we let the water all dry, we mopped it again. So we mopped it twice, made sure everything was nice and clean for the next morning when they opened up again. And then on the next slide, doing some more cleaning. This is the other part of the warehouse. So we swept up some more, got all the garbage. And once we got all the garbage together, we took that out for them since they have a lot of boxes and garbage they're dealing with on a daily basis. At the end of the day, there's a lot of garbage left over. So, you can see Dean putting some of the dustpan in the garbage. And then once the store was officially closed and all the customers were gone, it was just the volunteers left. They had us vacuum the main room where everyone walked around and does the shopping. And you can imagine this gets pretty dirty too since it's carpeted. So we gave it a nice vacuum and made sure it was nice and clean for the next morning when they reopened before we left. And that concluded our day there at the Alliance Community Pantry.
So a little bit about the impact it had on our community. Our work kind of showed that Union students are kind of just giving back to their own community since we're in Alliance. That's where the college is. We do a lot of stuff around town, so it's good to give back and help out other people. All the customers that we helped were very grateful that we were volunteering our time. They were very nice and kind to us. And also, most of the volunteers, they had a lot going on, a lot of chores and duties to do. So all of us volunteering, we were kind of able to take some work off their backs and kind of even it out, so they were not stressed out at all. So our proposal, what we would do with $1,000, the first $250 we would put on just food, since that's obviously a big part of the organization. The next $250 would go on a new freezer to hold the food. Another $250 on marketing and advertising the pantry and getting their name out there to the community, making people aware of what they do and how they can help. And then the last $250 would be on cleaning supplies, just to ensure that the facility is in tip-top shape and is ready for business. And lastly, how does this all tie to ECN 330? Food security today is one of the primary issues facing many families in the U.S. So some people aren't as fortunate to go home and just have food right on the table. They work hard for that. The wage gap is also still an issue today. It affects single mothers and their ability to put food on the table. Some people are just worried about what they can get on the table for their next meal, just not next week or so. Also, single parents are also strained financially because they're responsible for both keeping up on their homemaking tasks along with earning money for the family as well.
And that's our presentation. Thank you.